Hello and welcome back to Helldivers. So, think of today's video as kind of a continuation of yesterday. With yesterday, me going over old stratagems from Helldivers 1 that we haven't seen brought to Helldivers 2 yet, and a few kind of how we could implement them. And today is the continuation of that with the weapons. Because if you go back to Helldivers 1, there's a lot of weapons that could easily get brought back. Like I said before, it's another issue of I can't provide images for a lot of them, mostly because in Helldivers 1, you didn't really get a good view of guns. At best, you had like your loadout, you had a silhouette, which it worked for the time, but that's about as far as it really comes. But let's start going through these. With pistols, starting off, we have the Flam 24 Pyro. So it's a flamethrower pistol, which we actually already have there's been a data mine that shows a very, very rough version of it. So that is potentially coming. I won't say it is coming, because the devs have even admitted some of the stuff people have been data mining is old scraps that they abandoned long ago. Which is what I assume the weapon customization system is. Then there's the Plaz 3 Singe, a plasma pistol, which that's another one we already have seen. There are data miners who have managed to get it at least in player hands. I have not seen them in... like, the video is just a guy kind of laying on the ground, aiming down sights. He doesn't shoot it. I don't think it has a projectile or anything tied to it yet. So it looks nice. So at least we know, to a degree, those are somewhere in development. I assume the Plaz pistol, the Singe, is coming at some point, because if it's already got a fully modeled and textured model, you know, it's fully done, I think that has a better chance than a rough, blocked out kind of early stage weapon. Going on to the rifles, we have the AR-22C Patriot, which is the carbine version of the Liberator. Higher fire rate, larger magazine. There's not much to say. It would be nice to see something else get added to the assault rifle category. It is one of the categories that just feels like it's, by and large, just forgotten. There's the AR-20L Justice, which the pictures of the actual silhouette make it look like a Liberator, but it's not described as a Liberator. It does have higher damage, smaller magazine size, meant for medium armor. It looks a lot like, if you're familiar with guns, the L85. Which, I guess, in a way, if you're familiar with bad British guns, or if you played Call of Duty Modern Warfare, you know what it looks like. There's the AR-14D Paragon, which is... it's like an M14 semi-automatic rifle. Oh, this is a weird glitch. Doom mode. Start bumping E1, M1 while I'm doing this. This is actually kind of cool. Oh god, it's worse. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to fix that after we pulled out the rupture and it got real ugly. Oh, this is destroy a lab. Never mind. I was like, I'll use my rifle. Nope. That's not happening. We have a old shotgun. The DBS-20 Double Freedom. The most Helldivers name you can come up with for a double barrel. In Helldivers 1, it was actually incendiary, or could be upgraded to incendiary, which, with how we know Helldivers 2 does things, that could easily be a side grade version. Then going on to another underserved category, the SMGs. There is the MP98 Knight, which is a high rate of fire, said to have armor-piercing stun rounds, which, in lore, if we're gonna get real nerd about this, in the lore, they're supposed to have what amounts to, like, electrical charges. Oh, he is way out there. Well, he's getting summoned here. You could do, like, a... So, I'm just trying to think of how you'd implement a new version. I would have a normal, medium, or, yeah, a armor-piercing version, and then I would have, like, a Tesla or Arc version, and have that be like, it can jolt to one target, providing a little bit of utility without being just stupidly overpowered or anything like that. Because that's always a concern, is you don't want to have these things be broken, or I really wouldn't want it to just be the arc rifle but automatic, because that, it could work. As I say it can work. I just don't think it's as interesting. And having a single arc makes it like, hey, this is not entirely built around being just the arc gun. It's meant to be kind of a munition variant. Then there's the other SMG, since there was only two ones we were missing. The SMG-34 Ninja, which, it's an MP5. Let's not act like it's something different. It's an MP5. It had a suppressor on it, and is supposed to be kind of a stealth weapon, but it never actually worked as a stealth weapon because obviously stealth didn't exist. I could see this making a comeback when the devs really lean into adding stealth options for players. I think it'd be a great time to introduce it. You could introduce it beforehand. Just have like a suppressed version, an unsuppressed version. It would work out just fine. So, Helldivers 1 didn't have DMRs, they just had snipers. So, we'll kind of lump these in together since we currently don't have a dedicated sniper category. We just have the anti-material rifle, which, if you count it as a sniper, okay. The thing for me is, this has the same level zoom. So would you count the Eruptor as a sniper?
Got a sample. Mission at 30 minutes remaining.
So let's just say for DMRs, there is the LHO-63 Camper, which it's Lee Harvey Oswald 1963. Like, that's what the Easter egg of it is it's, you know, the JFK assassination. But it looks like a Dragunov or an SVD.
I found something.
So, there's that little part of me that's just like, it's not the right gun. It's not the, what is it, like a Carcano I think he used. But it was a semi-automatic sniper. Nothing really special, considering like the Adjudicator and all the DMRs we have more or less do the same thing. I don't know when we'd really see that make a entrance.
Sending in an eagle.
Just because it really, at the moment, it feels like DMRs are more or less just filler content.
Calling in orbital.
When you don't have enough to fill out a full war bond, you just slap a rifle in there and go, good enough.
That's called democracy.
Then there's the one everybody's been asking for, the the M 2016 Constitution, which is, it's an N, I think it's supposed to be N, I might have wrote that down wrong, 1903 Springfield. So, that's pretty cool. The big thing there is it was given out October 26th for Freedom Day back in 2016. So if that's going to make an arrival in this game, I think that's when it will show up, is October.
Rare sample acquired.
I can't really see them pulling that out early. Then we have some of the weirder weapons. It was considered, I think, energy in the first game, and that's the CR9 suppressor, or it might have been under explosive. It's a semi or full automatic mini rocket rifle. Some games would call it like a rocklet rifle, which, personally, for a term, I hate rocklet because it just sounds stupid. By and large, I would consider it like, what if you took the Jar Dominator, made it full auto, and then gave it like a proper blast radius? I'm not gonna sit here and say it's a bad idea. I'm all for it. I think more weapons the better. If the devs really want to beat the meta weapon accusations, you just gotta add enough weapons that eventually the meta dilutes.
Request approved. Reinforcements have been launched.
Calling in reinforcements.
Yeah, that death might have been my fault. I'm gonna keep that one 100 emoji. That might have been my fault. But our last two weapons are laser weapons. So if you're one of the people who really loves laser weapons, there's some opportunities here. And admittedly, one of them, our first one... Actually, you know what, I'm gonna make it our first one because I feel like it. The first one is one I actually really liked, which was the LAS-13 Trident. It's the closest thing where you're going to get to like a laser shotgun. It would fire 3 beams, like one forward, one to the, like 80 degrees to the right, actually probably like 65 degrees to the right, 165 degrees to the left, in kind of like a pulsing pattern. It was good.
Activating jump pack.
That thing let you just dumpster patrols back in Helldivers 1. Personal favorite, 10 out of 10, would suggest using it. How it would serve in this game, I am not 100% sure. I could genuinely see the devs making it more of a inconsistent kind of thing where it's more actual shotgun. It's just 3 beams in a cone. They could stack on each other, they could spread super wide. You don't know until you use it. Would it suck? Kinda. It's one of those Don Corleone, look how they massacred my boy kind of situations. But I would still give it a whirl, because it could be good. And that's all that matters. And then our last weapon, entirely, is the Las-12 Tonto. It's a laser SMG, it's like the sickle. I think it's a sickle. The like auto rifle version. That's all it is. Is it good? Is it bad? What it is it works. But that's all the weapons. That's every weapon from Helldivers 1 that we're missing. Any of them sound good to you guys? As I've shown, I have a few favorites and a few I'm looking forward to, but have to really stress, nothing's guaranteed. All these weapons could show up, or none of these weapons could show up.
I got the terminal.
Totally thought that was a live stalker still. In the end, just like with the last episode on stratagems, I won't say that it's like, oh, I just want all the old stuff to come back, or that I want it all first and foremost. It's more, I'd like to see this stuff come back scattered within new stuff. Because as we've seen, we've had some cool, newer weapons. And I don't think anybody is really opposed to getting cool new stuff if it can kind of get balanced out with some old.
Super Earth's finest back in action.
Now we just have to finish off this mission and hopefully not die in the process. Which shouldn't be hard, like... At this point, it's just a straight shot to the nuke. And even if the team isn't feeling it, I'll go push the nuke. And they can clear everything else out. Use the power of jolly cooperation. I will say, the grenades, there wasn't anything in grenade category, because back in the day those were like a perk, and they were just kind of, they were pretty normal. It was like stun grenade, I think incendiary. As it stands, the only grenade I think this game needs is poison gas. Once we get that, I'm fully content. I'll take whatever afterwards. That said, I would like kind of a mini frag where you get like 2 or 3 extra grenades, but they're just individually weaker. Slightly lower damage, lower blast radius. I think that would play well into dealing with bug hives. Also, mini frags are just kind of cool. I wouldn't call them practical, because the whole point of a grenade is to clear out an area. And if it takes two to clear out the same area, they're not really serving their purpose.
Dropping a pin. East, 200 meters.
But they do have style.
Rare sample acquired.
This is not a good place right now.
Fire in the hole! Tagging map. East, 100 meters. Calling down a sentry! Sending in an eagle! Love tunnel breach! Have a taste!
Actually, I have a question for you guys. Are there any weapons, like not even from Helldivers 1, just weapons in general, you'd like to see in this? I think
I'm on it!
it would be cool to get something like a chain gun, but any huge chain gun, Vulcan, things like that, those are vehicle weapons. You can't be just lumbering around being Terry Crews from the Expendables with the minigun. Even though that scene is pretty great. And it'd be that actually, going from last episode's bit about a disposable machine gun, a minigun would actually be a cool option, simply because miniguns, you shoot through ammo so fast that you either need a massive backpack or it's a couple seconds of fire and then you're out. And everybody loves a minigun, come on. That's why the Juggernaut is still iconic in Call of Duty after all this time. It may suck because it's been over-tuned to hell and back, but it's still cool.
Reinforcing! Requesting air support! Engaging terminal. Request. Ah! Get some! Get some! Requesting advanced weaponry! Sending in an eagle! Last reload! Engaging terminal! Activating jump pack!
You have accomplished Liberty's will. Extract at your discretion.
Do we want to push for this little base?
Extraction when ready.
We'll swing through it, it's not going to be that tough. Hit it with the rifle, the other guys can start moving the other way. I got my coolest jetpack anyways. What I would like to see, actually, thinking about it, is... So, chargers can apparently bleed. That's something I've noticed some enemies actually do when they receive enough damage as they can bleed out. I would like for like a proper like bleed out round. You know, call it like frangible or something. But make it so I can just like doink a guy and they'll bleed out, because sometimes I don't want to deal with getting chased down by like a brood commander. But if I could just hit him and run and have him collapse eventually, I think it'd be cool. And realistically, this game lives or dies by variance. And that's an easy variant, just like having an improved armor pen variant of weapons, incendiaries, explosive munitions. I mean, you could have explosive rounds on... If we're gonna use Morealism, you can have explosive rounds on essentially anything. There are explosive 9mm. Are they good? No. Are they fun? Probably. I mean, you make things explode slightly. That's always cool.
Rare sample acquired. Requesting air support.
I mean, who's gonna say no to explosions? Same thing goes for incendiaries. Actually, I think I forgot to mention it. One of the guns actually has... Oh, it was the AR-14D Paragon. Has poison-tipped rounds. I was just thinking, because I had it written down, and I thought to myself, oh yeah, they could do poison rounds, but that's kind of difficult, and I remembered one of them does. It's damage over time and a little bit of a slow. It would be... I don't think it'd be bad. I think anything to slow larger enemies like chargers, I think players on average would be pretty cool with.
Calling in orbital strike. Calling in reinforcements. Calling in extraction. Calling in reinforcements.
Yeah, that guy should probably call in an extract at this point. We'll get there in due time.
Enemy elite north 50 meters.
By and large, that horde got cleared out. Oh, Bile Titan. It's so funny how with this game, Bile Titans went from something that was like, I remember the first time I fought one, I was like, oh man, this is terrible, we're gonna die. Now I'm just like, oh yeah, there's another one. Ain't that quaint.
Requesting air support.
Just kind of something you see on the regular. Which the president for Arrowhead even said he's aware the enemy variety is lacking. Which I think it's cool to at least acknowledge that that is something that needs to be changed, because far too often we see studios that are like, no, shut up, the enemy variety is fine, and you're left in a situation where it's like, no, it's actually pretty threadbare, if we're being honest with ourselves. And when it comes to horde shooters, you can get away with a lot of enemy variety. Especially when you do things like how we have here with the bugs, that there's like acid Terminids, and they either spawn with the nursing, or not even nursing spewers, just like the acid spewers, the green ones, or they don't spawn at all. Which leads back to what I said last week with the having like sub-variants of factions. That's exactly what this is. It's essentially like a hive strain. Which is, by and large, pretty neat. I wish there was a warning. It'd be cool, because if there was like... if you had armor that resisted like the poison or acid damage, I would appreciate being able to have that in advance and know like, okay, that's what I'm facing.
Shuttle launch in 20 seconds. Extraction complete. Pelican 1 beginning ascent.
But that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.